Hello and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave, and a happy 2019 too. So we had our most recent London UK Fountain Pen Club meetup, and this was on January the 5th, 2019. This was our first meetup of 2019. We had a number of pens on show, so I think let me show you some of the pens that I took with me. So you can see here I had my Goulet pen wraps with me, and I had a number of pens there. I also had some pens in one of my Visconti 12 pen cases as well, and you can see some Opera Masters and other pens there. You can also see the pens from the pen wraps as well, and these Goulet pen wraps are really nice, and I really have to commend not only Brian and Rachel but also Rickshaw Bagworks as well for making these, because this ink sort of design, that sort of swirling around like a glass when you're emptying your pen, is a really lovely design. So I really do love these pen cases or pen wraps or pen rolls, depending on really what you want to call them. So these were some of the pens that I took with me, and I'll show you here. So here's some of the Visconti Opera Masters. Now, I did something that I don't normally do. I've been trying to obviously reduce the amount of pens I have inked up, and I really don't want to keep inking up a lot of new pens, and I didn't have a lot of new pens to take with me. So I decided that I would still, people have been asking me for some of my Opera Masters that they could have a look at again. So I decided to take up a load of my Visconti Opera Master pens, and a lot of these aren't inked up because I did clean these out in, I think it was November or December. So we have here the Visconti Opera Master Blue Swirls Proto, which is a lovely pen. Now this is inked up just with a very little bit of Pilot Iroshizuku Momiji. Now all of these Opera Masters have 23 karat palladium nibs. This is a medium nib, but it's for me, I like this design. Now, this is a design that isn't one for everyone, but for me, I do like this. So that was one of the Opera Masters I took. I also took this lovely one, which is basically the same as the Visconti Homo Sapiens Crystal Swirl, and you can see here the lovely sort of swirl pattern that you have going on here in the cap and also in the body there. This also actually comes with a 23 karat palladium medium nib, and for me, I started out getting medium nibs with these. And then I got the Crimson Tide. This has a 23 karat palladium stub nib, 1.3mm stub. But again, I love this lovely ribbon effect that's going on there in the pen. It's absolutely gorgeous. So I was really glad that I managed to pick that one up before. Now, we've had a number of people at the club now that have River Thames, thanks to me. So I took my River Thames along with me as well. So this is the Visconti Opera Master River Thames. So I took that with me. I also took the lovely Golden Dust as well. The River Thames has a 23 karat palladium stub nib on. This Golden Dust has a 23 karat palladium fine nib, but it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous pen to look at. I then also took my Visconti Opera Master Luna, which is inked up still with Visconti Blue, and it's an absolutely gorgeous glittery pen. And I'm really glad that Brian and Rachel did this pen with Visconti, because it is a beautiful pen. And then we have the True Fay exclusive. So this is the Visconti Opera Master Corvina, and again this also has a 23 karat palladium stub nib on. It's a 1.3mm stub. I also took the again True Fay exclusive. This is the Stardust in the Opera Master, and again this material is absolutely stunning. So beautiful, beautiful material. And then I took my spider pen, my Visconti Istos Arachnis, and this is a stunning pen, not for everybody, but you can see there a lovely spider's web and then the spider. This was inked up, and this again is 23 karat palladium medium nibs, so you can kind of get the idea that I like the medium nibs on these 23 karat palladium nibs. And also stubs, because some of these are stub nibs as well. And then I also took the Visconti Homo sapiens bronze swirl, and this is an amazing pen, and something that Annie was also commenting on when she was looking at the pen and playing with it, was that the lovely sort of ivory-like material here. And this comes with a 23 karat palladium stub nib, but you can see here the pattern that goes on there across that ivory-like resin is beautiful. So that was another pen that people like always to look at, so I took that with me as well. I also took a few of my other pens, and I'll show you those in a bit. I also was able to try out a really nice pen, which I'd never even seen or heard of before, and it was a pen that Rupert had with him, and it's called the Autograph pen, and it also goes under another name, under another brand called Duke, and it's the Dream World, and that in itself was actually quite a nice pen. Has this lovely sort of like red cap, like fiery red cap on it, with a black body with a very large gold cap band, and that was actually quite a nice pen. So I was actually quite lucky to be able to give that pen a try. John also took his conids with him, and he's actually looking to sell this conid, and so I had a look at it, and I do like the look of the conids. I would really like to add one to my collection at some point. The number of things that put me off of conids, one is the sort of almost 2-month wait period, but also some of the nibs, like these nibs came with titanium nibs, and it was either an extra fine or a fine nib, and I tend to find titanium nibs a little bit more feedbacky, a little bit more toothy. I understand that they do wear in a little bit better after use, but I think I would much rather, if I do pick up a conid, much rather pick up with a gold nib. But the price on the conids aren't cheap, and I do have to seriously think about that versus other pens I have on my wish list as well. Thomas also brought his Omas Arco Arte Italiana in the Arco Brown, and this was is a lovely pen. It writes really well, and I'm always really glad to try that pen and to see it. I also took my Omas Paragon. This is the Scarlet Red version. This writes really, really well, and I really do like this. So Thomas was able to check that out and give that another try. And there was also this lovely Sailor 1911, and this is quite a small Sailor 1911 nib, but it has this lovely glitter throughout the body that I really did like the look of. The only problem that I find with some of these sailors is that they do tend to write on the fine side, and I have a Sailor 1911 large with a Naginata togi nib, and that I do like. Another new member that has been coming recently is Philip, and Philip has a number of Viscontis, and he has a number of the original Visconti Van Goghs, and he brought along the Visconti Van Gogh demonstrator, and I do like that. It's been a pen that I've been looking at potentially for a while now. The thing that puts me off about these is that it's a demonstrator pen with a cartridge converter, and I always think that's a shame. I always would much prefer it to be just a demonstrator without seeing the converter there. But it was a nice pen, Again, though, it wrote a little bit on the fine side for me to what I would like, but again, it was a nice pen, so it was really good to be able to try that from Philip. Philip also brought along a lovely new acquisition that he got over the Christmas period, and this is the Sailor, and this is the 1911 Tequila Sunrise, and this was in a hard medium nib. And it was a really lovely pen to look at, and I like the difference between the body of the pen, the colour of the pen, and the cap. Although I do kind of think it should be the same colour, and maybe just a gradient that sort of goes between the cap and the body. But it's a Sailor pen that I have really not seen before. I also took with me my lovely Visconti Medici Il Magnifico, and this pen is a very heavy pen at 70 grams in weight, solid silver and solid marble, and it's a stunning pen, so a lot of people got to try that as well. My Visconti Camelot as well, which is just absolutely stunning. I know a number of you have been lusting after this pen. It's a really lovely pen. This one actually comes with a gold 18 karat gold nib. I have this inked up currently with Mont Blanc Lavender Purple. But that's a lovely 18 karat gold nib. And there is also the Medici Magnifico is a 23 karat palladium nib, and the Visconti Belgica I took with me as well, and again that's a stunning overlay of a pen here, and again in gold, and this is an 18 karat gold nib as well. I also took my Visconti Ecstasy Dowd, and again I really do love this pen, and so people got to play with that. And again, my king of pens, but it's a behemoth, is the Visconti Speakeasy. I took that, so people were able to play with that and try out, see how wet that pen really is. I also took my lovely Maquis, and this is the Visconti Luxor Obelisk, and you see here this material is absolutely stunning. It's a Maquis with Urushi lacquer on. It's really beautiful pen, and that's actually comes in a 23 karat palladium. Is the same with the Speakeasy and the Visconti Ecstasy Dowd. So these are all medium nibs, these three pens here. I also took my Paragon, as I mentioned. This is from Omas, and this is the lovely Scarlet Red, and Thomas wanted to try this again, and he loves his Omases more recently, so he was playing around with that and seeing just how well that flexes, and it really does flex quite well. It's quite a soft medium 18 karat gold nib. And then I took three of these, and these are the Visconti Operas. Now, these are pens that I am actually looking to probably part with in my collection, and I was taking them to the pen club just to see if anybody was interested in these. And this is the Visconti Opera Elements Dark Amber, and it's an absolutely stunning pen. Cartridge converter. I had that inked up so people could try it. It's a 23 karat palladium nib. It's a two-tone nib. Cartridge converter, but it's actually a really nice pen. And then also the Visconti Opera, and this is the sparkling deep blue ocean, and again, lovely cracked ice effect going on here. Beautiful pen. So these are just pens, there's nothing wrong with them, but they're just pens that I don't really write a lot with in my collection, because I have a lot of other pens. And then there was this Visconti Opera Club, and this is the Cherry Blossom as well. And again, it's a lovely pen. This I actually have a 23 cat palladium stub nib on, but that is again a lovely writer. So those were a few more of the pens that I took with me. And here were the final 10 pens that I took with me. So over the Christmas period, I had a new pen that came in, and this was a TWSBI VAC 700R. And I have this inked up with the Colt Pens version from Diamine, and this is the Diamine Colt Pens Robert. And this is an iridescent ink, which means basically it sheens. And so I actually got a lovely broad nib on this, and I find it writes really smooth. I'm really impressed with this. I have a number of Diamond 580s, and I love those, but this I find writes a lot better. So I'm actually quite glad that I had that bought for me for Christmas, because that is a very, very nice pen. I also had this one as well, and this is the Pilot Namiki, and this is the Varden Galaxy, and this is an absolutely stunning material. I really do like that. That is absolutely stunning there. So, and again, it's an 18 karat nib, very small nib, but they're very nice. I also, the month before, picked up a Crimson Sunrise, and this is the Crimson Sunrise edition. So I got a fine nib in the Varden, and I got a broad nib in the Crimson Sunrise. So I took those so that people were able to play around with those as well. Also the lovely, stunning Montegrappa Extra 1930 Shiny Lines Dove. It's an absolutely beautiful pen, and this really, really is stunning pen. So I'm glad I picked this one up, and a lot of people love writing with this pen because the writing experience is really, really nice. And then I took some of my Armando Simone Club Bolognas, and this is the Extra, and this is the Wild Side. So glad that I picked that one up as well a number of months ago. I think it was October 2018 maybe. But that is, again, a lovely, stunning pen. Comes with the Magic Flex nibs. So this is an 18 karat Magic Flex nib, and it's a really, really lovely writing experience. So I do like my Armando Simone Club Bolognas, and then I have the green Arco, or the Arco Verde version, and again, this material, the Arcos, whether or not it's a brown or Verde, are absolutely stunning. So again, 18 karat Magic Flex nib on these. I have this one as well. So that one was in the gold trim, and this one is in the rhodium trim, or the silver coloured trim. But again, this is a really lovely, beautiful pattern that goes on here with the pen. These Arcos, you either, it's almost like a Marmite, you either like it or love it, or you hate it. And for me, I do love these. I think the browns tend to sheen or shine a little bit more though, but compared to the Verdes. But the Verdes have that lovely, like, greeny silver like shine to them, whereas the Arco browns have just more of a lighter brown shine to the pens. But again, it's an 18 karat Magic Flex nib on these pens, but they are pens I really do love. I have 4 Verdes, I have the Arco Brown, I have the Wild Side colour or material there, and I really do love these pens. They are beautiful pens. I also took my Leonardo Mediterraneo again, and this again is a stunning pen. I do love this. I've actually been writing with this a lot more sort of over through December, and my opinion is changing. Like, it was a nice pen to write with, but not for me. It wasn't an exceptional pen to write with, is what I felt. But since I've been writing with it more, I really am loving how this pen is writing, and I think it's probably because like the nib is just sort of really sort of relaxed a little bit whilst I've been writing, and maybe pushing the gold nib a little bit more. I try not to flex too much, but I do like a little bit of line variation in my writing, and the ink that I have inked up in this is the Robert Oster Australian Sky Blue, and I think that matches the pen perfectly. And there's one final pen here, and let me move this tray out of the way so I can try and get this to zoom in a little bit more. But this is what you'll see here is just a Jinhao. It's a Jinhao X450. And I decided over the Christmas period that I would try and start doing my own grinds. So you'll see here it's a Jinhao 18 karat gold plated nib. It's a standard steel nib. But what I have done to it is, if you can see here, I have turned this more into, let's try and zoom in a little bit there, an architect grind. So I have actually turned this nib, which was a standard medium nib, into basically an architect, and this writes really, really well. I took this to the pen club. I allowed a lot of people to write with it, and everybody was actually quite interested in not only the architect grind but also how smooth it was as well. Now this is my first grind. It took me about 30 to 45 minutes to do this grind, but for me, like, this is actually worth it, and I want more architect grinds in my collection. So for me, I think this might be the start of doing nib grinding, and I will probably only be doing it for myself unless people actually specifically ask me to do something for them. But for me, I really like this nib. Now this nib is actually a little bit of a combination of a architect nib but also a zoom nib. So basically, if you write with it at higher angles, you'll have a thinner line, and if you write with a lower angle, you have a much thicker line when you do your horizontals. So for me, I really like this nib, and I will be doing a lot more of this in future. So there you go, that was a recap of the London UK Fountain Pen Club 2019. Thanks for watching, please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye bye.